AI. We've been talking a lot about AI over the last several years. It's multifaceted, and I think it's helpful to look at it in this lens. First, of course, AI is a new technology. It's a new technology in the sense that it's built differently than software of the past, and this new software can do things that software of the past could not do. And so it's incredible technology. All the things it can do, all the things that we have to do to keep it safe, all the amazing things that it's going to enable, fantastic. So there's the technology layer. The second layer, which is rather new, in the last technology industry, software production, it was done by humans typing. Now we have a new industry, and this software is produced with machinery. So you need a large supercomputer, you apply electricity to it, and what comes flying out of it are tokens. And these tokens could be reformulated into numbers and words and proteins and images and videos and three-dimensional structures. And, you could reformulate these tokens into all kinds of things. We call it intelligence. And so this machinery looks different than the machinery of the past. And I call it an AI factory because it does one thing. Every single day it's producing tokens. And the layer above that is infrastructural. And this is the reason why we now internalize that AI is likely going to be quite an extraordinary industrial revolution in the sense that this new technology is going to enable a new industry that I just mentioned, AI factories, the production of intelligence, but it's going to go back and revolutionize and transform every other industry. And so all of these tokens are going to go into healthcare and education. One of my favorites is education. I use it every day for education. Financial services, engineering. We use AI every day for software programming and supply chain management. It's about to go into manufacturing and so on and so forth. And so when you think about it from these three layers, it's very clear this is as transformative, as impactful as electricity was before, and it's going to revolutionize every industry. So it's an industrial revolution.
People have talked about this concept about the fact that we're in an AI race globally. What do you think the U.S. government needs to do to win that AI race, to have the very best AI technology?
First, in order to have a race, to do well in a race, you have to understand the race. And you have to understand the resources that you're working with, the assets that you have, the assets you don't have, your advantages and your disadvantages. And some of the things to realize is that AI is fundamentally at this core level, and going back to the three levels that we're talking about, at each level, we have to make sure that we understand the game. And this game isn't, there's no 60-minute clock on this thing. This is an infinite game. And so most people aren't very good at playing infinite games. Nvidia is now 33 years old. We've been through 3 computer revolutions, from the PC revolution to the internet to mobile, and now we're in AI. And so you have to, in order to thrive across all of these different changes in the environment, you have to understand how to play games. And so the things that I just described, understanding the game, understanding the assets you have, really important. At the first layer, at the technology layer, the most important thing to understand is the intellectual capital. And remember, 50% of the world's AI researchers are Chinese. First, just take a step back and recognize that. That important factor has to play into how we think about the game. The next is AI factories. In order to do well there, you need to have energy. Because fundamentally, we transform electricity into digital tokens. Just as the last industrial revolution transformed atoms through energy into, steel things and physical things that we know, cars and things like that, buildings and things like that. And the generation before that, we gave it water into a machine called the dynamo, and what came out was electricity. And so now we have electricity go in and tokens come out. So the next layer requires energy. The layer above that is just happening now. And it's really, really important that we understand that ultimately the winners of the last industrial revolution wasn't the country that invented it. It was the country that applied it. And the United States applied steel, applied energy faster than any country. Everybody else was worried about things like labor and horses being replaced by cars and, those kind of matters. But the United States we just took it and ran with it. And so the infrastructural layer above that is about the application of the technology. It's about not being afraid of it, wanting to engage it, reskilling our workforce so that we're able to apply it, encouraging people to adopt it. And so when you look at when you look at AI through the lens that I just described, the framework that I just described, each one of the layers has its own, if you will, challenges and opportunities, and the game's a little different in each one.
What is your expectation on the timeline by which we live in a world where AI-enabled robots become a ubiquitous part of everyday human life?
First of all, a self-driving car is a robot. Now, it's taken us about 10 years. And now Waymo is, in cities all around the nation and is doing fantastically. And it's terrific to see the Waymos driving around in San Francisco and other cities. It took about 10 years. Robots will take less time. And the reason for that is because we can constrain the environments where the robots operate. And so the robots don't have to be as general purpose as a car. Once you're in San Francisco, you got to work in every street and every single condition. And so in the case of a robot, we could be a lot more constrained. From the moment that something is prototypable, fairly functional, to the time that it becomes high volume product, call it 5 years. And so we have quite high functioning robots today. And so in some 5 years time, we're going to see, robots get pumped out of these factories. And every car company who makes cars today will be very good at building robots. They just have to get good at the software part of it, the AI part of it, but that technology is really, fairly available.